Third part of losing consciousness is a severe blackout. It happens at depth, usually greater than 5-6 meters. You black out at about 10 meters because you went way over your limits. You go down, you get entangled with the rope, you shoot a fish, you start pulling, you start trying to pull him up, and then you finish your oxygen stores before you get to 10 meters. You are hypoxic. You get to 10 meters, you black out, you continue going up, you have less and less oxygen, and then what you see is this. People are convulsing. Okay? It's not this, it's this. The diver, of course, will not reach the surface by himself. He will exhale, start sinking. When you take him up, he will be totally cramped. Okay? Jaws locked, eyes rolling, blue in the face, blue in the lips. Okay, and unless you do something radical, something very precise, very quick, then the diver will not regain consciousness, probably. Okay? In the first 2 stages, he will regain consciousness after a few seconds. Okay? So this is the first thing you have to remember. Usually, a blackout ends by itself after a few seconds, as long as the diver has his face above the water. Okay? You have to let air touch his face. Okay? Mm-hmm. So let's look at the symptoms and how we deal with them. What you feel under the water. Depending on your dive, depending on the length of the dive, you might feel different things, different sensations. I heard today, I won't say who, comes out of the water after a dive and he said, like, I finish the dive, I start breathing, I feel good, I feel euphoric. Okay? I define it as I see a train passing in front of my eyes, like this white thing. Suddenly, like, whoa. It's very nice. It was a very good dive, but it's not really a good dive, because this is the stage where you're on the edge of something. It's not nice. Okay? Blackouts usually occur above the water. Sambas usually happen because you breathe improperly. Okay? You exit the water, and what's your first instinct? You do this, you don't have air in the lungs, you don't have oxygen in your lungs, it's the end of the dive, and then oxygen is basically sucked from the blood circulation into the lungs, and the next thing that happens, you don't have blood in you don't have oxygen in the brain, and then you don't remember anything. Okay? So you reach the surface, you breathe in correctly, and then you feel this sensation. It can happen even before. If you did a dive which exceeded your limits or was close to your limits, you might feel burn here, which is not bad, by the way. It's lactic acid buildup. It means that your body worked during the dive. Okay? You might feel, I heard people saying, I kept seeing a certain picture that I saw on the bottom. This is what happened to me. Once in my life I had a Samba. This was during an experiment we did in order to check whether a certain kind of warm-up induces a Samba. It did.
You passed that one.
Yeah. I went diving with a friend and we did some warm-ups and a dive which was supposed to be a very easy dive, and then he did a Samba. And I thought, that's not logical. You did just a 42-meter dive, touch and go. It was supposed to be very easy. just yeah, because we were diving a bit deeper then. And a day later, I said, like, okay, I will try the same warm-up. And I remember coming up, and I remember seeing those 2 fish fighting at the bottom. It was true, really. And then I come up, and at 10 meters, I still see those 2 fish fighting at the bottom. It's very clear in my head. And I tell myself, okay, you're not here. You're totally disoriented. I'm working. I know I can reach the surface, but I feel something not good. So I reach the surface. I grab the buoy. I have my buddy with me, of course. I see him coming to me. I look at him. I see him coming to me, and then I see him smile, and I'm like, woof, that was close to a Samba. I said, like, close. From what side? Was I? Yeah. So I lost this part. But you can remember what happens. Okay? You can remember going up. You can remember everything, and still have a Samba. This lost time. Okay? You might feel the taste of iron in your mouth. Okay? You might feel tingling in your peripheries, toes, hands, lips. Okay? Heat here can be a symptom, or a sign, not a symptom, but a sign.
Was that hate?
Heat, you just feel heat here.
This is symptoms for Samba?
Yeah. Samba or a blackout, just before. Some people don't feel anything. Not necessarily the symptoms. Okay? Above the water, what the body will see is either this, twitching, or uncontrollable movements, or shaking, or problems to breathe, or not being able to support yourself. Okay? What do you do? As a free diver, experiencing these problems, you have to think about two things. One, are you alone? And if you are not alone, if you are alone, what you do, and if you're not, it's a bit easier. If you are alone, you shouldn't be alone. Okay, anyway, to begin with, you're not diving alone. But if you are alone, then you can consider dropping your weight belt.
Yep.
Are you diving with or without a snorkel? With a snorkel here, usually? Consider either removing the snorkel, holding it in your hand, or emptying the snorkel in this technique, you know? You know this one? Yeah? Just before you reach the surface at about 2 meters, just do like this. A bit of air inside the snorkel, and when you reach the surface, just do and start breathing. Okay, the first breath has to be very relaxed. And if you try to empty a snorkel like this, when you're on the edge of Samba, you will have a Samba. Okay? You will, for sure. If you are without a snorkel, lean back. When you reach the surface, open your hands, open your feet, like Charlie Chaplin. Okay? You'll be much more buoyant. Okay, and lie on your back, or just put your snorkel and lie flat on your stomach. No movements, no talking, no shouting, I shot a big fish and now I'm exhausted, I come to the surface, come and like you lose your gun, you lose everything. I saw these things happen. Okay, so it's not nice. Okay? No shouting, no calling. Take a few seconds, a few breaths, good breaths, to regain consciousness and control before you start doing other things. Okay? If you have a body, and he's with you, and he sees these things happen, what do you do as a body? As I said, the first thing you have to understand is that usually, or 99% of the cases, a Samba ends after a few seconds by itself. You don't have to punch no one. unless you're really angry at him. Okay? You don't have to pour water on him. Nothing. Hold him above the surface. If it's a Samba, it happens above the surface. Hold him above the surface. Wait for a second, 2 seconds. If he doesn't regain consciousness, remove his mask. Do not throw it, because after 5 seconds, he will ask for it. Okay? So put it on your hand.
He will punch you.
He will punch you in 4 minutes. Okay? Put it on your hand. Okay? And then keep holding him. Next step, if he doesn't regain consciousness, talk to him. Do not shout. Do not scream. Because he's this close to being conscious. And if he will hear, "Wake up!" he will just fall back. Okay? He's close. He can hear you and he will respond to what you say, even though he's not conscious totally. And if you tell him breathe slowly, he will breathe slowly. And if you tell him breathe through your nose, which is sometimes easier than through the mouth, after you lost consciousness, he will do that. Okay? But most of the cases, you won't even have to. He will regain consciousness and he will not remember a thing. If he lost consciousness totally, a blackout, shallow water blackout, same thing applies. First of all, if you are alone, pardon my French, you're fucked. Okay? Because you cannot assist yourself if you lose consciousness under the water. Unless you drop your weight belt, and then you can hope to float like this instead of like this. If you have a body, you notice, the first thing you will notice is someone stop kicking. And many freedivers, including me, stop kicking on the way up. You just glide on the way up on the last few meters. Yeah, but if someone stops gliding at 10 meters, and you see it's not like, okay, I stopped gliding, but it's like, I want to bring a movie, but I don't have it. Next time, you'll have it. Someone, you can notice it easily. Just stops moving. Grab him as fast as possible. It's not like in scuba that you have to come from behind and secure the airways and open the airway because you're holding your breath, so it's no problem. You just have to prevent water entering. So as long as he's on the way up, moving upwards, he will not swallow water. Even if he's exhaling, he will not swallow water. If he stops and starts sinking, he will swallow water. And then it will be much harder for you to act. Okay? Catch him. If you catch him from the front and just push him up, his head will tilt forward and he will not have air in the lungs. If you catch him from the back and you just pull him up, it will be like this. Not good. Okay? And just a few months ago, there was a competition in Egypt. I saw someone blacking out at 22 meters. The deepest blackout I've seen in my life after an 85-meter free immersion. And they were bringing him up, panicking. I was totally shocked that he was alive afterwards. It was two deep water blackouts, one after the other, one at 17 meters and one at 22. The first one took them maybe a minute and a half to recover him.